Hi, and welcome to the I'm Not Dumb But podcast, a podcast where four friends discuss topics that might be mainstream but not common knowledge. From personal finance to starting a business and even unsolicited retirement advice, it's guaranteed to be intellectually stimulating. Enjoy the conversation. And my name is Cesar, joined always by Robert.
Hello.
And Victor.
What up?
And this is the I'm Not Dumb But podcast. On this episode, we're going to talk about conspiracy theories. Do you guys got your aluminum hats ready? This is going to be a doozy.
Yeah, I'm recording from my bunker as we speak.
I'm ready for this Illuminati.
They're watching.
They're listening. They're always around you.
They're always around us. Well, first things first. So when I say conspiracy theories, what do you guys think of?
JFK, but you know what my favorite one is?
JFK?
JFK, like the airport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't know about the airport conspiracy?
It's not real. Actually, bro, I did a whole thing on airport conspiracy. That's the conspiracy theory I'm bringing.
The one from Denver?
The one from Denver.
That one's kind of creepy. I didn't look into it, but that one's
Bro,
kind of
I looked into it.
We'll discuss a little
Like
bit later
Denver
on.
International?
Denver International.
Okay.
Hold on to that one. We'll discuss later.
Roger.
I'd say like flat Earth, moon landing.
I mean, we didn't land on the moon, so
I'll give you like a definition by Kim Douglas, a psychology professor at Kent University over in Europe. So she defines it as a proposed plot carried out in secret, usually by a powerful group of people who have some kind of sinister goal. So that's what we're talking about today, discussing conspiracy theories. Not one in particular, just the whole genre of conspiracy theories. Why do people like it? What attracts people to conspiracy theories? Why do some people fall straight to them? What are the most popular? What are the most enduring ones? What are the ones that we believe? And what conspiracy theories actually turned out to be true? So let's go. What do you guys are there any conspiracy theories that you guys actually believe in?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I would say no, but like...
When you put like aliens and UFOs, it's not like I believe the government is hiding them. I think that there's a such thing as maybe an alien or a UFO, but I don't know if the government's hiding them. You know what I mean?
I personally don't think if you get a large enough group of people together to keep a secret, I don't think they can. Someone's gonna fucking spill the beans on that one.
Right.
I do think aliens exist. I don't think they either give a fuck or have found us.
I have like an aunt who's like straight up QAnon, and the shit she says is fucking out of this world.
That is wild. A little later, we'll talk about why exactly those people fell into that trap. Because it's kind of scary, because then it leads to like psychology. As you can see, past couple of election cycles have started filtering into politics, where it's becoming like, oh, you guys are an idiot, to, oh, you guys are showing up to pizza parlors with guns talking about, let me look at your basement.
I think another thing is a lot of people just rush to the internet and just read and believe shit. And I don't know if it's just me, but everything I read on the internet, for the most part, I feel is sarcastic. Like, I feel it's just people pulling your chain or just trying to get a reaction. So I don't take most of it, I don't take seriously.
I agree with both of you guys. The one I'm like the most fascinated about is the alien ones. My theory is there's so much intelligent life. The life on this planet is so complex. I find it hard to believe that the rest of the galaxy, the rest of the universe, doesn't have teeming with life. Just based on the fact that like there's so much different life on this planet. You're not gonna tell me, oh.
Is that the conspiracy? Because that's just like...
No, the conspiracy I think is like that the aliens came down, the government is trying to hide them. You got Area 51.
Yeah, like Roswell and all that, and a lot of our computers.
When I was a little bit more interested in that shit years ago, I would go down these YouTube rabbit holes where a guy, he would show pictures of random shit and be like, yeah, this is the government hiding this, and the government already went to Mars. There's like a co-conspiracy with like aliens and all this other shit. I'm like, okay.
I've heard that for when we went to space, those pictures were destroyed because they saw so many fucking alien ships. They were like, oh my God, they're fucking everywhere, and like shit like that.
Yeah, I heard that shit too.
That is bullshit. I think that's bullshit.
I heard that one too. Like the one that's
You're
kind of
like, I have those pictures.
Yeah,
telling you what happened.
The one that's like kind of weird is like that we never went back to the moon. Like we went once and then like we never went back, and no other country ever went back.
We didn't go once. We went a bunch of times.
Did we though?
Yeah. No, we went a bunch of times.
Did we?
Well, you ever watched Apollo 13, like the movie?
Yeah.
I saw Apollo 18.
Even what?
This one was like they go up, but like they fucking meet something and then they all die. That's the secret mission of Apollo 18.
All right, but like even Apollo 13, right? That was what, like their second, third time to the fucking moon, right? And they were already in the movie, at least they were talking about how ratings were dropping because people stopped giving a shit. So they pulled the funding on shit like that. If there's not getting any play, like, and also the whole thing about going to the moon, right? It was military, it was strategic, it was we're fighting with the Soviets, we need to prove that we're better than them. And then we go to the moon, they're not even fucking close, they're miles away from even attempting that trip. So they were like, okay, so we won, what next?
Yeah, it was just a space race.
Right. You ever look at movies like you ever watch like 2001 Space Oddity?
No.
I've seen it, yeah.
Or even just like other movies like that. We have all these like space stations and all this other stuff. All of those movies predict that the Soviet Union is still around in the present time and that we're still in a space race with them. That would have pushed our technology to keep trying to go to space. But once we got up there and we're like, okay, yeah, we're the only ones that are really doing this. They're like, all right, fuck that. Cut the funding. Well, and we'll figure something else out.
Yeah.
We'll spend it making bombs and fucking pointing missiles at each other.
You know, they built a bomb and they blew it up in the moon.
Did they?
Yeah.
And what happened?
Did they? I don't
They did. They did.
A bomb?
What bomb?
Yeah. Hold on.
Lunar landers, they crashed into the moon. They blew bombs in space.
Well, maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's the lunar one. They crashed the lunar robot. Yeah.
Yeah, the lander.
Maybe that's what I was confusing with.
And it was like a huge fucking...
It's like a bell. No, it's like a bell, right? Because it's hollow.
Well, yeah, they said that the moon rang for like 3 hours or something, like a bell.
Shit.
Yeah.
Really? Oh shit. No wonder the aliens are pissed.
We're out there fucking ringing.
Just fucking not. We literally rang the doorbell.
But you ever heard of the conspiracy that like aliens live in the ocean?
Yeah.
I mean, I would believe that over living in the sky. We don't even know what's in the ocean.
Have you ever seen The Abyss, that movie?
No. You're just giving me a list of fucking things to watch right now.
That one, The Abyss, is a great movie.
Which one is that?
It's the one where like they found like a nuclear warhead on the bottom of the ocean, so they like send a team to go and, I don't know, disarm it and shit. So they're sitting in the bottom of the ocean and these weird creatures start coming out of nowhere and shit. I don't want to like spoil the whole movie, but
Who's in it?
that's a bunch of fucking people in it.
Ed Harris.
Ed Harris, yeah, Ed Harris is in it.
This is an old movie.
The chick from Scarface, she's in it.
Oh, yeah.
Tony's sister.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen Scarface?
No, I haven't seen The Abyss.
No.
Oh, I need to watch this. I mean, we don't even know what's underneath this. Like,
Have you guys seen Sphere?
Yes.
yeah.
That
one
one's
was
freaky.
sick.
That one's freaky, man.
Yeah, that's
That
very
was-
tricky.
Yo, if I ever see a fucking orb, I'm fucking running. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at it.
You know, a movie fucked me up? Like Event Horizon. That was wild.
Yeah, that one fucked me up.
That one fucked me up at a young age.
No, I didn't see it. Never saw that one either.
But like, I don't understand the whole like we haven't explored all of the ocean. Like we have shit everywhere in the ocean. What do they mean by that? Is it not mapped or is it just?
I think it's
Well,
just too
they haven't gone
large.
deep enough. Yeah, they haven't gone deep enough.
What do you mean? We've gone to the deepest point. The Avatar guy went to the bottom of the ocean.
All the way?
Which Avatar guy?
The fucking James Cameron. He went all the way to the bottom of the bottom.
And what's down there? A fucking...
Titanic is down there. Leo's down there. Leo.
It was like there were like shrimp down there. Like there was like little tiny creatures, and that was it.
Nah, bro.
The Mariana Trench.
Mariana Trench. The blue diamond is down there.
35. That fucking diamond, bro. 35,814 feet.
So I don't get it how people can still say like, it's only 2% mapped. We can go anywhere. So how is it not all the way mapped?
Because it's just so vast. It is so huge.
But that's like the same people who say, fucking, we only use 10% of our brains.
I think we only use 10% of our hearts.
Yeah, definitely true.
I think it's just so big. You can't know what's in there. I mean, all the time they're like, they find like giant squid and this and this. You don't know. You have no idea.
You don't know, bro.
Like when those planes go down and they're like, oh, just go find it in the Indian Ocean. And we're like, we'll never fucking find it. We just have to wait for something to wash up.
Oh, there's a conspiracy right there.
Oh, yeah.
Bermuda Triangle.
No, the that missing Malaysian flight.
MH whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what blows my mind is like the Ukraine. Remember that like back in the day, what was it? It was a Ukraine flight that Russia just shot out of the sky, wasn't it?
It was the same company, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like within a few months of that same airline got shot down by fucking
Yeah.
Russians over Ukraine.
Yeah, they shot it down and nothing happened. We did nothing. Like, I mean, no one did anything. I mean, what happened with that?
It technically wasn't, it was like Russia, but it wasn't Russia. It was the Russian separatists using Russian equipment.
So
Gotcha.
MH17.
Speaking Russian.
Putin probably supplied a missile that downed plane. That's what they're saying. There's strong indications that Russian President Vladimir Putin decided to supply the missile that downed flight MH17 in 2014.
Yeah, Malaysian airline flight. And why would he do it?
Again, but that's the conspiracy because people are like, oh, there's a bunch of researchers on that flight.
Yeah, I heard that too. I wouldn't put it past them though. I wouldn't put it past. Remember when the US took down, or not took down, but like grounded like a South American flight looking for Snowden? Then he wasn't on it, and they were like, how the hell can you just do that? We can do whatever we want.
I mean, we've taken down
Governments.
No, we've taken down. It was like a South American president,
Yeah.
and we literally shot his fucking plane down, like killing them because we needed the government to change. I think it's like known, but it's not like fully confirmed. But
No, that was one of the conspiracy theories that I was going to say actually turned out to be true. It's called Operation Candor. But we'll talk about that later. The conspiracy theory that we kind of believe, kind of not believe is the alien ones. So there are a couple more enduring ones. Do you guys believe anything about like the...
Why do we believe certain ones and not others? Like, why do we believe the UFO ones? But like,
well, again, though, we don't really believe the UFO ones as in like the cover-ups, right? Or
we just believe that UFOs, the existence of. Okay, gotcha.
Another conspiracy theories is like the JFK, which I really don't care about. You got the 9/11 cover-up. You guys believe that one? Or even entertain the idea of that one?
The 9/11 one is weird, right? I remember when the buildings went down and we were in college talking about it, and all my professors who are like all academia, structures, engineers are like, no, that's how buildings go down. Okay, cool. So that's how buildings go down. But have you ever seen the video of a plane that crashed into the Pentagon? That thing looks like a straight up missile. Like, I didn't see a plane. It looked like a missile.
So here's my thing though, and this is why I have trouble believing any of the conspiracies around 9/11 is because I don't see the gain. Like, I don't see what the benefit would be to do something like that. Like, if you just tell me that it was ignorance on behalf of the intelligence agency and they just let this slip, I believe that. But for it to be completely planned out, I mean, for us to declare war on a third world country, like we could do that for less. We don't need a 9/11 for that.
Yeah, I don't think that this was a deliberate plan. Just working for the government, I believe, like you said, like it was straight up ignorance and we overlooked it. However, you never let a good crisis go to waste. And I think they just took that and ran with it. It's like, all right, how can we turn this into a positive?
How can we make this work for us?
How can we make this work for us?
Changed a lot of the policies. Everybody gave up a little bit of the freedom for more oversight.
Oh, we gave up everything.
We gave up everything. We gave up everything. That's like
The government, under the guise of terrorism, started doing whatever the fuck they wanted, especially in the Middle East.
We gave ourselves permission to basically be at war forever.
Yeah.
Without thinking, because now like people look back and you're like, none of this made sense. Going into wars for any of these countries don't make sense. But back then, everybody was like gun ho. The whole country was straight ahead. Let's kill people.
I was one of them. I was like, yeah, let's fucking, let's go in there.
Let's go.
But I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I was some fucking kid. Like, I did no fucking research on it.
And imagine you were a kid, right? And you said that. And imagine all the adults, so-called adults, saying the same thing.
Well, that's the difference. Like, now, living the life I've lived, I'm extremely anti-war.
Nah, man, sometimes you gotta kill one person or two.
I think it's the last resort. I think it's the very, very last resort.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
I remember I had this conversation. Do you remember when the shit was popping off in Syria?
Which time?
When?
Like when Obama was still president.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, we draw the line at chemical weapons and shit. Then they were saying, oh, chemical weapons happened. And people were like, oh, we should go in there. We should go in there, right?
Yes, I do remember that. They were like,
Yeah, it was like 2011, maybe 2012. And I was sitting in class, and I forgot what class it was. It was like a business ethics class. And the professor just was like picking our brains. She was like, "Oh, what are your thoughts on this? What we should do?" And I remember some kid, and some like 20-year-old, maybe 19, raised his hand. He's like, "Well, we should start bombing them." And he was dead serious. Like, he was just like, "Yeah, this is bullshit. You can't do that shit. We should just go in there and start bombing them." I'm like, yo, that is a dangerous and stupid fucking mindset, in my opinion.
So let me put some context on it. I think what you're talking about was, if this is the same one, correct me if I'm wrong. Early morning of August 21st, 2013, the Assad regime released a nerve agent sarin on Syrian civilians in the Ghouta district of Damascus,
Yeah, I think that's
killing more than 1,400 people, many of them children. I remember that one. I was also like, yo, let's bomb them too. You don't mess with children, man. You don't mess with children.
Let's go over there and bomb their children.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, basically, here's the thing. The most military knowledge civilians get is the fucking Raytheon fucking commercials that when they're selling their fucking bombs on Fox News. They're like, yeah, this bomb can go into a room and it'll fucking just sniper the fucking terrorists that you're trying to kill. But like, they don't say, oh, by the way, when it hits the room, it's taking the entire block with it.
It's going to take out the fucking doner kebab shop across the street.
Yeah.
It's going to level the school next door. But you know what?
Like, we can get it into we can get it into the room, but it's taking the whole block with it.
Yeah, it's if you think about it, okay, something bad happens like that, right? And the government's like, all right, well, how do people not blame us? Well, we have to blame someone. And now when something bad happens like that, right? America just unites. It's one mindset. There's no one asking questions, right? When 9/11 happened, how many American flags did you see out? I saw American flags everywhere. You don't see that anymore.
But even asking questions, if you speak out like, hey, we should stop and think about this, you get fucking thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
You're fucking ostracized from the whole fucking society.
Now, the thing is, when that happens and people's heads turn that way, it's easier to turn a big ship. And then now you can move this thing to wherever you want, or you can move it incrementally. Now, the thing is after a while, everyone starts asking questions and you can't turn it as quick. So what do? You get another problem. Now you can shift it a little bit more to whatever way you want it to go. You know, it's not that easy.
It's not
that easy to change a lot of people's minds.
And conspiracy theories always have like a hint of truth or some kind of, might be all bullshit. There's some facts that people latch onto it. When they take those facts and they say, okay, well, this is true, everything else has to be true, it kind of leads people down the path. So one element of a conspiracy theory is that conspiracy theories are often incorporate elements from pseudoscience, for instance, by employing scientific terms or referring to data or research or sources and statements from experts. They typically shy away from employing the scientific method, says Kim Douglas again, the psychology professor. She also says that conspiracy theories have always been around us. She did research and she found that like conspiracy theories, they always thrive in time of crisis and social upheaval, but they go back all the way back to even as far back as when Rome was burning.
What's like the earliest conspiracy theory that was out there?
That I'm not sure, but I'm assuming if she mentioned that she had research when Rome was around, I'm assuming that conspiracy theories also tie into coups against kings to being overthrown.
I can imagine like there's a bunch of fucking people in Egypt going, yo, who built those pyramids? And they're like, yo, we did, you fucking asshole. And they're like, nah, I don't believe you. I don't believe you, buddy. You got help.
Yeah, there's no way you could have done that. I helped you with your hut last week. There's no way you could build a pyramid.
I've seen your workmanship, bro. You can't get it like that.
Yeah, you ain't got it. Did you see that gold inlay? You can't do that. I think it's a human natural thing, right? And it does come from, time of crisis. But if you think about like every conspiracy theory that comes out, like a lot of people talk about conspiracy theories now, right? Everyone has their thought on what it is. But if you think about everyone, like it comes from a good place. They are legitimately trying to help you. They believe they're trying to help you. Like a lot of the QAnon people, they believe that they're helping you to be awake, right? They're like, dude, this is what it is. Like it comes from a good place. I think that's just people needing help.
Yeah.
I think they're just providing help.
I don't like conspiracy theories that always involve secret societies and shit. I just don't feel that a small group can work together cohesively for like a long amount of time and not turn on each other because people are fucking selfish and greedy.
Well, it's tribalism. I mean, that's how we survive.
Right, but like I don't know, for a small secret group to just be like, all right, we're gonna control the economy. Is that a small group? This is how I think of it. Is it a small like Illuminati type group steering the economy which way or the other, or is it just a bunch of people with a common goal? That they don't talk to each other because they don't need to, because they all have the same goal of just ultra wealthy people just going, yeah, no, our mission is just to fuck these other people, fuck these poor people and take all their money. Like, I wouldn't say that would be like, that's not a group, that's just a common goal that a bunch of people, powerful people share.
Right. I think it's just the system keeping itself afloat.
Right.
I mean, take Jeff Bezos and take my broke ass, right? Apart from the billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Well, he's jacked, so maybe I'm a bad example. But apart from the billions
He's
of
also
dollars,
jacked. He's also jacked.
he is pretty
Bigger
jacked.
than you, bigger than you.
No, he's bigger than me. He's bigger than me. But let's say I was at his level of jacked. Like, put me with a spear and him with a spear. Well, we'll see how it goes down. But give him $1 billion and give him a system where he's at an advantage. He's not going to let that system go. And he's got the resources to make sure that system thrives. So I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, it's just a bunch of super wealthy people working toward a common goal. Now, those goals align and we think that they're all sitting in a room together. Well, you know what? That probably did happen. I mean, some of the early ages when everyone came over to America, a lot of these rich people, they did conspire. They did have think tanks, but it was because it was like 15 freaking super rich people who came here and they still have a majority of the wealth.
Like all the early presidents were all like coming up with the Constitution and all that.
Yeah.
The first 15 names, I'm like pretty sure I just made that 15 names up, but like the first, a whole bunch of names like past Thomas Jefferson, they all signed the Declaration of Independence. Like,
You could be right. It could just be a bunch of different entities with the same goal, right? It doesn't have to be like something nefarious. Like Davos, when all the richest, the highest people, all the tech people, they get together, the World Economic Forum, and they literally discuss all the happenings. And then I don't know. I've never been there. Haven't really read a lot of it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. When
I have no idea what you're talking about.
the Davos convention?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you don't know?
I mean, I've heard it before, but like I forgot it. So if you can just remind me.
It's basically the heavy hitters in all the walks of life, business, finance, heads of state. They all get together in Switzerland and they all literally discuss the economics. They literally discuss all the agendas. The elite of the elite all getting together to meet up.
It's like our family's fucking Christmas dinner where they're all fucking sitting around the table solving the fucking world's problems.
Except they actually could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually could, and they actually like have the money and the resources, and they just probably like, yeah, no. Those people could be like, you can consider them, okay, you can be like, oh, well, these people get together every year. They have the resources. They get together. It's the smartest people, but all the fucking problems still remain the same.
The problems remain the same because it's problems that don't pertain to them.
Right.
It's our problems. And we're not changing our problems. Think about the problems of the world, right? And think about how it affects you. And think about how do you make problems not affect you? Half the time you can't fix them. You just position yourself where you don't have to deal with them. And that's how you win in this system.
Not to get too much off topic. Look, that's what's happening now with that fucking chemical spill in Ohio.
Yeah, it's sad stuff.
Nobody gives a fuck besides the people that live there to do things about it. There's no state of emergency. There's no fucking cleanup crews everywhere. There's just the EPA goes in and they're like, yeah, it's safe. And people are like, it's not safe, dude. Everyone's suffering over here. But yet, is that the conversation that's running across the country? No, not at all.
No, it's just why is everything not in stock at IKEA? Oh, we had a derailment in Ohio.
It's been basically a poor area in Ohio, and no one gives a shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even ultra rich. It's just people.
People, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. There's poor people. There's people starving. There's this and this. Okay, well, if you get
Homeless
more
people.
money, homeless people. You get more money. Well, you're not starving and you're not homeless anymore. Okay, well, it's not my problem anymore. It's their problem. And then I move up and I get other problems. Like iPhone's battery dies after 3 years. All right, well, let me get a little more rich and then figure out that. We're not solving problems. We're just avoiding them.
Which leads to why are people susceptible to conspiracy theories? And one reason that's being argued is that it's because of pattern recognition. So the mind sometimes sees patterns where patterns don't exist. because that's what the mind is wired to do. So the CBC looks like a Canadian website and was like, okay, the mind of conspiracy theories does this. It processes a negative gut reaction, right? It comes up with a theory based on suspicion, comes up with a conclusion, and then it discards evidence that doesn't support that conclusion. It starts to see patterns like, okay, I went outside, it started raining, I stepped on poop, and I went back inside, and I didn't see any birds. When I came back outside, there was no birds, but there's a whole bunch of poop. The brain wants to start putting two together and wants to start trying to figure out patterns, trying to figure stuff out. So it's like, why did this happen? Maybe the rain killed all the birds or some nonsense like that. Basically, it's people who are more likely to believe in conspiracy theory start to see these patterns that are not there. So what do you guys think of that?
What's that saying? Something isn't causation.
Causation doesn't mean correlation. So
It's like if I go to the ocean,
it's similar to that, yeah.
yeah, like I go to the ocean, I stick my head in, I don't see any whales, so therefore whales don't really exist.
Yes. But this one is like you don't see whales every Monday, but you see them on Tuesday. They vanish, they disappear. So you want to start seeing patterns that try to identify or trying to make sense of what you're seeing. Even though it's not based on any sort of logic or facts, it's just literally you seeing stuff without you bringing in any other information. That's one reason why people might be more susceptible. Another thing could be lack of information. This could be more, maybe sometimes I fall prey to this, right? There's a lack of information just in general between government transparency, government trust. So when something happens somewhere and you are lied to by the government once, right? People then begin to say, well, you lied to me once, you can do it again. And again and again. So that lack of information between the government telling you what actually happened and then what they told you, you finding out it's bullshit. And then you're saying, well, now everything you're going to tell me is bullshit because you're not going to give me the information.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the way you explained it, conspiracy theories, it sounds like superstition. And I'm starting to believe, well, I think if conspiracy theories have been around for a long time, I think it's just part of human nature.
Yeah.
I think it's just the way we process what we don't know. And if we don't know the process of something, we will just assume what we do know. And what we do know might be ingrained patterns, because learning is just pattern recognition. And we just apply that way. And if we don't know the ins and outs because of whatever the process is might be complex, now you're going to just use a different pattern and try to answer a complex problem. It's not going to work. So how do you answer that problem? You throw X in there and just say Illuminati.
I couldn't go to the grocery store today. Illuminati must have fucking sabotaged me.
Dude, I mean, because you're very interesting, right? The way you said it, it's like pattern recognition. You go outside, you step on poop. Okay, cool. I see this all the time with guys who are learning. We're learning, positive train control. And they go, well, no. If I just slow down and then I do this and then I turn the key this way, the system works. And I go, no. What's happening is it takes time. And by you slowing down and by you turning the key, you're just giving it the time needed. So they have a whole system in their mind and it works 100% of the time. And if they don't do it, it doesn't work because they're not slowing themselves down. But if they were to just sit and do absolutely nothing, the exact same end result would happen. But they will die on the hill of saying, no, you have to do it this way. And I tell them, no, you could do it both ways because this is what you need to get to the end result. It's interesting to see that.
So another reason I came up with why people might be more susceptible is lack of trust. And that's a big one. Lack of trust, which also leads back to lack of information. Lack of trust with the government, authorities. How many stories haven't you heard where like...
I completely understand the lack of trust in government. I get it. Here's my problem with that kind of thinking is because a lot of people that do have a lack of trust in government have trust in some private company. And unless you're some like 50% stockholder in that company, you have no say. You should not trust that company. But you do have some sort of say in how the government or who's in the position of the government. So for me, the logical thing is to not trust the government, but like the only thing that's going to be working for you is the government. Because that's the only thing you're going to really have input in. Shit Incorporated can literally fucking do anything they want to you, and you will have no say in it.
Shit, are they trading on SHIT?
Yeah, I think they went down today. Yeah.
Do they have a preferred stock?
They poisoned like 3 water supplies. So
yeah, I saw. Well, then price is going to go
what
up.
You're saying is now's the time to buy.
Yeah, that's the time.
No, I completely agree with you. When people say government, I feel like to me it seems as if it's one giant entity with no face, just this hovering body that they don't really understand. When if you take a step back, you say government is made up of people. So when you say I don't trust the government, I feel like a lot of people just like, oh, I don't trust the government. This amorphous, like this thing that they can't seem to understand or even get through. But no, it's these fucking people, these representatives, these senators, your local representatives that you can easily just call their office and be like, hey, I'm not, your voice can be heard.
I mean, they might not necessarily do anything, but that's as close as you're going to get to
Yeah.
actually reaching someone that is supposed to listen to you. They might not listen to you. They probably won't, but I mean, they're at least supposed to listen to you.
I mean, think about it. Like if I'm trying to get influence on a group of people and I say, hey, I have a problem with my assemblyman in the 3rd district. And you're like, man, I don't even fucking live there. I don't give a fuck. And you're like, oh, I got a problem with my senator or my governor. And then people are like, well, I'm from fucking Jersey, so I don't give a shit. But if you say the fucking government, now you're reaching a whole lot more people. And they're like, oh yeah, I got a fucking problem with the government too, right? And now you have something in common with that person.
You'll see this a lot on news networks and in like political speeches. When they want to say how bad someone's doing, they'll always use the term they, and they'll never specify who they are talking about. They would just say, oh, they want to take this from you, your guns away. They want to take your fucking Medicare away. They want to do this to you. But they won't say who they is. So the audience will just fill in they to whoever the fuck they have suspicions of. And they'll be like, yeah, this guy's got my vote. He wants to take them down. And it's like, who's them? Who are you talking about?
The government.
I can really agree. I'm saying like a lot of the times like people are so angry at the government. You're like, yeah, but who are you angry exactly with?
Well, I don't think they know. It's because they don't understand.
And that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? That's
Definition of conspiracy: an attempt to explain harmful or tragic events as a result of actions of a small, powerful group. That's it. They just want to explain why something bad is happening to them. And they want to blame someone for what is happening to them.
The system isn't working for them. They are living paycheck to paycheck. Things aren't going well. And so they're just going to say, okay, we need to blame someone. Someone's got to be at fault for this because it's not me.
Right.
To a point, they're not wrong, but...
The thing is are we seeing more conspiracy theories because more bad things are happening to people? So maybe the system is harming more people and these conspiracies are just getting larger. If everyone was happy, do you think they'd have someone to blame?
I think it's twofold. I think one, there's more and more people, because if you look at just like income inequality and the rise in prices for everything and like housing shortages and shit like that, right? And then you mix that in with things like the internet where anyone can just go off.
bingo.
I can go on today and by tonight create an entire website about nonsense, and I'm sure people are going to believe what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she said. Like the lady earlier I mentioned, Kim Douglas, she did an interview and someone asked her, do you think because of the rise of like anti-vaxxers, the whole COVID situation, QAnon, all that stuff, they asked her, hey, has there been an uptake in conspiracy theories? And she said, no, the research shows that it's been the same. So I started thinking, I'm like, so, okay, why does it seem like there's been an uptake then? And I came up with that. I was like, I think it's the internet. And I call it the double-edged sword. We have so much information available to us. That's the problem. Because now with all this information, now we got to filter all of it through all this bullshit. And like, it takes a special kind of person to be like, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I don't think it's a special kind of person. I think it's honestly, I think that is combined with shitty education systems across the country. There's less and less learning about how to interpret information than just learning information. And I think we spent our time in school saying, this is your information that you need to know, instead of this is how you process information. I think that kind of divide and that lack of awareness of the difference between the two is what's fucking people up, because they're going, I read this, so this must be true.
I 100% agree with that. When I test people now, and I'm starting to realize this, the question has to be, and it's not a matter of it being clear. It has to be so clear that it gives you the answer. And if they feel that that question is quote unquote not fair, and to them fair is they just had to use critical thinking. Well, you didn't tell me that. Well, it's implied. And if you had learned critical thinking, you'd be able to get the answer. And I don't think that we teach critical thinking anymore. I think we teach people know this information. You know what I mean? So people are more memorizing and they think that's learning. think that's what it is. And I see it all the time. And I go, well, how would you get to this answer? And it takes them 3 steps, but they don't even want to get to the first one. And that's a problem because now if they read something online, they're not going to go the 2 extra steps to get to this is bullshit. They're just going to be like, oh my God, look at this. This is fucking ridiculous. I can't believe fucking Biden's doing this. It's something that I see a lot.
Coupled with like what Victor said earlier, economics, maybe social upheaval, maybe just personal shit that they're going through. And then you go down this dark path and you're like, let me escape from this into this.
Think of like certain situations of living in an American society. We are raised in a certain way to think, okay, you deserve a home, you deserve some property. If you work your hours and you get a good job and shit, you can save some money, you can live a good life for yourself. And then we get to this age and we work our asses off and barely own a home, barely can put stuff away. I think a lot of people are in that situation where they're like, well, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, something must be wrong. Something must be off here.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
And that's why I think the flight went missing. I think that's why the Malaysian flight is lost now.
I still think it's aliens. I did want to do a little research. And if conspiracy theories are all BS, are there any of them that ended up being real? And I found a couple, though. The first one I found was Valkyrie. Have you guys heard of that movie with Tom Cruise?
Yeah, when they try to kill Hitler?
Yeah. Apparently that's a real thing. Nazi soldiers tried to kill Hitler.
I think there was like a few attempts, though, from like other Germans.
There were a couple of few attempts, but each time they ended up not having all the resources and stuff, and all the Nazi soldiers ended up dying. So that ended up being real.
That was a conspiracy, though? That was like
that was a conspiracy
theory? Like people didn't think that happened or something?
People thought it happened, and later on, after doing research and coming out with historical data, they found that this shit actually did occur. This second one, though, when I heard about this, I was like, nah. So do you guys know that the army tried to drop a gay bomb?
And where in the West Village?
Was it just like something that they thought of doing, or what is a gay bomb?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the gay bomb is.
All right, so basically they were thinking about taking a bomb, it being non-lethal, but filling it with pheromones and then dropping it on like the battlefield. And they thought that instead of fighting, they were going to be attracted to each other. So they were going to hook up.
Oh, it was going to turn people gay.
It was going to turn people gay. They were going to hook up.
I mean, that's just like, it's like a wishful thinking. That's like someone's idea when they were high.
I think that it might make the army stronger. I mean,
all they needed was like an Indian, a motorcycle guy, right? They didn't have the parts.
No, I mean, so I had to do a paper on Alexander the Great in college, and basically what happened is Alexander the Great back then, like pederastry. What Alexander said is when you come out into war, you are to pick a lover. So all his men had lovers. And his thought was, if you have a lover on the field of battle, you will fight harder to make sure that he stays alive than if you're in the battlefield thinking about your wife at home. People in that time, they said there was 3 types of loves, and they were ranked in order. So there's the love of your God, so no one goes above that. The love of another man, and then the love of a woman. And because women were inferior, the love of a woman was lower than everyone else's. I mean, that was pretty much how people learned back then. So if you were to become an apprentice, you were actually, like a lover of another person. But yeah, that's what he used to do. And he actually had a very strong army or group of men. They were called the Ring of Fire. And it was like his elite soldiers. And they had all lovers on the field.
Oh, wait. Are you telling me that 300 was a prequel to a gay porno?
No, Alexander the Great wasn't 300.
No, I'm just saying.
He was Macedonian.
We move it forward. So 300 were all gay guys with nice jacked bodies. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
No straight guy has those jacked
straight
bodies,
guys. Definitely not.
Yeah. And it was called pederastry. And actually, they were saying that Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, all these guys, they were young lovers of each other. And that's how they passed that on. They were saying that Socrates had a rule because he would teach children. And his rule was that you could not physically touch him. It was said and it was written that he would basically go into like a lust rage for young boys. And so in his classes, you could not physically touch him. Yeah, and they used to make fun of. I was reading, and they actually had like these like old writings where they would make fun of men who would not take young boy lovers. It was actually like seen as such a thing that it was common, and if you didn't do it, it was weird. It kind of blew my mind, and that's been around a very long time.
Man, Woodstock was wild, right?
The 70s, man. They said it was the best.
70s is crazy, man.
Yeah, so I mean, if they dropped the gay bomb, I think we'd have like a hellfire of army to fight. So why didn't they drop it?
They didn't. They put a proposal. They created like the chemicals, and they thought that was gonna happen. But I guess the smarter minds prevailed. This one, like, I don't really know much about land history. I've like South American history, but I've always heard this, that the CIA is always going around and trying to topple countries, trying to topple dictatorships, and putting people that they know. You guys heard that, right?
Yeah.
Well, they found out Operation Condor. During the 1970s and 80s, 8 U.S.-backed military dictatorships jointly plotted the cross-border kidnap, torture, rape, and murder of 100 of their political opponents. So, and that's helped by the CIA, of course. So one of I think dictator Pinochet, he came from, I forgot where. I think it was Argentina. So yeah, the CIA went in there. A whole bunch of movies are about it. You know, they don't like the person who's running it. They get another person, supply him with resources, get him out. And now you have like a stand-in. Do you guys ever seen that movie, The Manchurian Candidate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah.
The new one or the old one?
No, the old one. The old one.
Like the old one?
I thought there was only one.
No, they remade it with Denzel.
Oh, really?
That's the one I know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, with Liv Shriver. Yeah.
Yeah. There's an older one than that.
Oh, really?
Like, you ever seen like American Made?
No.
Throw that on your fucking list.
American Made? Hold on.
Yeah, with Tom Cruise in it. It was a CIA. It still might be a conspiracy, but it was like a CIA-backed plan. What they would do is bring cocaine into the U.S. to sell. And they would also bring in like South American militia people to train them to go back there and basically disrupt their country.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And all he was doing was just smuggling drugs under the protection of the CIA into the country.
Oh, that is awesome.
It's a crazy, crazy fucking story. It's an awesome movie, too.
Side note, he's a great actor.
Oh, yeah, he's killing it. I want to look at that.
He's always been a great actor. He's just Scientology crazy.
Scientology. Well, that's another conspiracy theory that I didn't really want to touch, but
Well, they will shut us down.
they will shut us down.
I don't think we
They'll
can
shut-
go against
I heard
them.
a knock on my door. Hold on.
Don't answer it, bro. Don't answer it. Just go out the
Hello?
window. Sell
Hello?
the house.
Who?
Fucking move.
Who? Girl Scout cookies this late? What are you guys, a Boy Scout? You know what's one thing that I heard that like I thought it was a conspiracy theory, but there is some merit to it. The government controlling the weather. You ever heard of that?
Yes.
Oh, I've made fun of that. Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently it's called, we did it in Vietnam, and it's called cloud seeding.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I heard of it.
Yeah, and
I
I
know
was
that,
like,
yeah.
oh wow, we actually tried something like that, but I guess we don't.
We do it all the time.
I heard we do, right?
Yeah.
They just like use, well, I'm looking it up now. They use silver iodide. Do we still use that or?
Yeah, I think so. I think they try to use it for hurricanes. From what I remember is if a hurricane is approaching a populated area, they'll try to seed it so it rains more so it loses its power before it hits the land. To try to like lessen the hurricane. I don't know if they still do it. I don't know if it worked. I've heard that was a thing.
The balls on that pilot. Yeah, why don't you just fly over there and fucking seed that fucking hurricane?
Well, they fly over it.
Yeah, I mean, still.
Have you guys heard of chemtrails?
Well, that's true.
That's totally not true.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
How do you know it? How do you know?
Then what is it? I mean, are we just saying,
It's the amount of money and time that would take. It doesn't add up.
and what does it do?
I don't know what it does.
Sterilizes us, or what is it?
I don't know what exactly it does, but it's the plumes coming out of the planes in the sky.
Aren't the microplastics sterilizing us?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, my Nalgene. I can't have a kid.
You're or water bottles that we're drinking out of right now is what's fucking killing us.
This is my fault. Fucking, I'm done. I'm sterile.
And then there's the big one. There's Watergate, the Watergate scandal. That in the past was a conspiracy theories until two guys started doing research, figured it out.
What was the conspiracy behind that? What did
They
people?
didn't think he I think the whole Republican Party and him in general said, no, we didn't do this. We didn't do anything.
Oh, so the conspiracy. Okay.
So the conspiracy theory was that he did do it. And later on, yes, he did wiretap the Democrats. And then he eventually resigned. That's another conspiracy that actually were found not to be true. And the biggie is that the government's spying on us, man. Edward Snowden. He told us all.
Yeah, and nothing changed.
I don't know. I mean, I don't remember that being a huge topic, though, that the government was spying on us.
That's always been a thing, though. That's always been a thing. And then, like, when he came out and he literally just gave us all the facts, and then all these companies were like, yeah, we are. Nothing happened. But that doesn't mean that it's still not like, oh shit, these guys are literally listening to everything we do. Everything that we're doing right now is being captured somewhere, being stored somewhere, all this data. There's a building in the Bronx. It has like these like windows. It barely has. It doesn't really have windows. And I'm like, what is it? It's off the Hutchinson Highway.
Oh, I know what building you're talking about.
Yeah, you see it, right?
There's windows, but they're like slits. They're
There's
like
like
tiny
slits, and
little
I'm like,
slits.
what is this? So I did a little bit of research, and it was like, I think it's part of the NSA. So I'm like, what is this building doing there? Like, that's all there is. There's no other information about it.
Yeah, and it looks fairly new. It's a fairly new building.
Yeah, it's a couple. It's maybe 10 years old.
What I found interesting is I heard someone from the government that were talking about Snowden because this was coming up, I think, towards the end of Obama's administration, because they were like, oh, is he going to pardon him real quick before he fucking leaves and shit? And I remember there was like a representative there from like the intelligence agencies. They were like, first of all, no, he's a criminal, all that bullshit, right? And then the second thing is, I forgot the reporter asked him something about the information he gave out. And he's like, well, most of that information is actually obsolete now. Like, we've moved on from that, which I found was like scarier. I was like, oh, you've gotten better, or you have way more worse shit out there that's spying on us than he sent out.
Both.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing came of it. Nothing. Literally nothing. We found out.
Look what they did. Look what they did. They said, yeah, all right. And then they just deflected. And they just made us say that this guy, he's not a hero. He is, he's a traitor to our nation. And we got to take him down. And now he's hiding in Russia. And now he's a Russian asset.
It's the same thing with Chelsea Manning. She gave out information that we were basically committing war crimes, and they were just like, yeah, you're going to jail.
But that's with a lot of these whistleblowers. Like, you turn around and there's specific policies that say, hey, we will not retaliate on you. And then that's exactly what they do.
That's exactly what they do.
Exactly what they do. So
we would call them whistleblowers, right? But they would call them traitors. It's like someone's going to define what they're doing differently.
Yeah.
And even the general public does the same thing. They view Edward Snowden as a traitor. They view Chelsea Manning as a traitor. You picked up the fact that they stole information from the government. You're not going through and saying, well, what information did they just give us? Things that we should have known, or things that we should have been told.
It goes back to the original point. Conspiracy theories. Why do people fall prey? People need to get information. Like the old saying, don't kill the messenger.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger.
Don't shoot the messenger. Chelsea Manning, she had the information. Yeah, she was whatever. But what information did she try to apply? Edward Snowden, the same thing. The information that they were giving us is like, oh shit. Like, Apple's literally every fucking... So I have a camera here to watch Lucas, right? And if you see through the camera, the iPhone is always emitting light. Always. I'm like, but you can't see it. But through the camera you can, and you're like, what is that? What the fuck is going on?
What phone do you have?
We have an iPhone.
Which model? You don't have the right amount of black. The black isn't dark enough.
The black isn't dark enough? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's like with TVs, they're like, well, this black is blacker than this other TV.
Yeah. Do you have Vantablack? You're not using Vantablack? Oh my god!
Your pixels are off. That's what you have problems with your pixels.
Nah, bro.
They're not shutting off properly.
You don't have
bro.
True Black? Oh my god!
Yeah, you gotta have
Can't
True Black.
sleep without True Black.
Nah, bro. But it's scary because it's like, well, why is this shit flashing? And we can't see the flashes right now, but clearly it's going on because the camera's catching the infrared from the camera because
your mic can be turned on remotely and shit, and they just start picking up whatever they hear.
You ever see the picture of Zuckerberg where he's like doing like an interview and his Apple computer, like the camera is like taped over?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my cameras are taped over.
I gotta tape my camera.
Mine is
Good
not.
now.
Hello, Zuckerberg.
Thing is, like, we pick and choose. Like right now, I guarantee you that my Echo is recording my voice for Jeff Bezos to fucking jerk off to whatever I'm saying in my house.
Oh yeah,
Because if you think about it, it's always listening for a certain phrase. So how does it
Yeah.
know when it hears it? It's always listening. It has to.
they're all gonna take over.
Yeah, it's
So,
going to be a real problem. You have these conspiracy theories, right? And then you find out some to be true. And it's because you have an opposing voice. It's because you have critical thinking. It's because you have people who ask questions. And sometimes they ask the right questions and they do the right research. And then most people don't. And they just go into an infinite loop and don't get anywhere. But they don't want to be wrong, right? So they won't want to be wrong. And they'll just blame someone.
Is there any conspiracy theories that, like Rob, you mentioned this earlier? Is there any specific theories that, like, friends or family that believe in shit and you're just like, oh God, like, not this again?
At first, I just would like go with it, like the QAnon and this and that. And I would just be like, one day I said to my family member, I just lean into it. I'm going to go down this rabbit hole and I'm going to see what is up. And it went from like, it used to be like, you know, this and like, oh, Trump is this. And I mean, at the end, we were talking about how Biden and a lot of these people are clones. They're part of a reptilian universe that is here.
the reptilian one always gets me.
We should be stocking silver because this fiat currency is going away, and that I shouldn't be worried, and that med beds are coming out, and that there's these Pleiadian aliens flying in the sky, and they're the good ones, and there's a whole intergalactic battle happening in front of our eyes. I was like, all this from
Do you like Dunkin' Donuts?
All this from, hey, good morning.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I can't, like, I don't even entertain it now. I mean, I just, like, I don't even know what to say. It's better off just listening because I don't even know. And it just goes deep, deep. And they believe it. But the thing is when they're talking, there's nothing like negative. It's like they're trying to give me a heads up. You know what I mean? Like they're doing me a solid. Like, yo, let me fucking tell you what's going on. Evergreen and fucking Bill Gates and Melinda Foundation. Let me fucking tell you about these kids. And I'm like, whoa, it's Thanksgiving.
They're spreading the word.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
one of the qualities that I found when I was doing research, that conspiracy
Yeah.
theorists will believe in it, but will also be happy to share with you. Like exactly like you said, like they're protecting you. They want you to be in the know.
Yeah. I'm in the know, and fucking it's just wild.
That QAnon, man, is some scary stuff. Because like if you start going down that rabbit hole, because like the internet is like I mentioned earlier, a double-edged sword. It like you start going down these rabbit holes, you start listening to these things that people actually believe in. You're like, what?
So I would sit and I would talk, right? And apart from the really just crazy, not crazy stuff, but like just far off stuff that I can't get to, like if I just bring it back a little bit, it starts from real problems. You know what I mean? Like it starts from real small everyday problems that everyone has, as far as like this process or this thing in our town, or this is not happening and we can't get it done, or we can't get it fixed, or they're raising taxes, or they're raising minimum wage and we're small business owners. How are we going to keep up? It's because they want us to fucking go down so that these big companies can come in and the fucking Walmart reptilian overlords can come in and shut down us with their big box stores. I used to take it back and I'm like, okay, so this is an actual small issue, like a actual problem, an everyday problem. And we've gone so far out where we're fighting an intergalactic war, like 70,000 feet in the air. But it came from like fucking increasing taxes. Or it came from like, I can't afford chicken wings because of an avian flu, which is fucking bullshit because of chemtrails.
Chemtrails.
They're going through some shit. They're hurting. They can't make sense of it. And they're in a loop. And the only thing that makes sense to them is Biden's a clone. And I can tell because if you look, his left ear is a little lower than his right ear. It's because they can't get the seam right. They're working on it and they can't get the seam right. And I'm like, okay.
Scary stuff.
Cesar, anyone close to you believes in something?
No, you actually, I'm the conspiracy person.
I know.
I'm the
I
one that
fucking knew it.
You're the
I
one.
knew it.
Spreading shit.
I'm the one that like I used to talk about aliens when we were eating dinner and stuff, and they would make fun of me. And I'm not. That's literally the only thing that I've ever like.
You know, I was wondering what you were digging up in your backyard, and it turns out you're just building yourself a bunker.
I'm just building myself a bunker, man. That's it. And so I'm the conspiracy guy, and look at me. I'm not that crazy. So yeah, I'm that person. Aliens, baby. They exist. The truth is out there.
They do exist.
I hate getting back to this, but it's like the aliens existing. It's like a statistical thing.
Yeah,
There's
that's
like
all I
there's
said.
no way if there's a billion planets out there, there's no way we are the only ones out there.
But like, isn't there like a moon off like Jupiter or fucking
Europa.
Neptune?
Europa. It's all water.
Yeah, it's all water. And didn't they find like germs on it? And there you go.
No, they're sending a spacecraft to land on it, I think later in the 2020s. We haven't landed anything on it. We've just done like scans of the outside of it. Technically there could be because there is liquid water, but they have to actually send something onto the ground over there.
Earlier, I mentioned like why are people susceptible to conspiracy theories, right? And then I mentioned like the lack of information. We are told things, right, by whatever authority, whatever body you want to say, and we have to take it as fact because we don't know. So something like that, like if let's say NASA, if NASA were to come out tomorrow and say we found alien life in Mars, right? I would say maybe a portion of the people would believe it. Another portion would say no, this is bullshit. You guys are just trying to make fun of us. You whatever. Another people were like, see, yeah, we always believed because there is a lack of trust between the people and body and the authorities, but also there's a lot of information that we're not given. You know what I mean? Like we're not given all the information.
But there's two things there. One is the fact that it came from NASA and not fucking Elon Musk. Being a government agency, they, for the most part, post or they put out how they got the information. They put out the data. The CDC does this and they do a good job of this. They have all the studies listed of what studies they used. Now, you can go in there, you can read the study, and you can say, well, I don't believe them. In that case, then what do you believe? Because I can just say no to everything, and then I'm just sitting in the dark going, well, I don't believe anything anyone tells me. And it's like, well, you're going to have to believe something at some point.
You can't know everything. You can't like, oh, what, because he's a doctor? It's like, well, that's kind of how we build our system, right? Like I go and buy something because this person is specialized in it and they can build it or they can create a service. I can't do everything. You have to have trust, right? I was reading this Sapiens book and basically they said like this, Yuval Noah Harari. Have you guys read this book? It's fucking awesome.
No.
What they say is basically money is like a trust token. It's a trust note. And it is that you trust the other person to do this. Because if you don't have trust, then society completely just falls apart. So everyone has trust and we share trust through money. And so they have this idea of, okay, yes, you have a fiat currency, but what is a fiat currency? Basically just a relationship of human beings. So what he says is currency or trust doesn't follow physics. And the idea is this, and this is the exact idea he uses, an example he uses, and I thought it was fucking amazing. You don't believe in, let's say, a bacteria or a virus. You don't have to believe in it. It could kill you and make you sick. That could happen, whether you believe in it or not. But if you don't believe in the dollar bill, it just disappears. If everyone just stops believing in a currency, those currencies collapse, right? And it's because trust. So everything is built on trust. So I trust that Victor is good at his job and will fix a problem. And he trusts me to do my job on my part because the system, no one can know everything. So we develop everything on human trust.
I'm from the sciences. I gotta, that's basically what I believe in.
I think with a lot of science out there, nothing gets verified, nothing gets redone. I heard that was like a huge issue, especially with things like experiments on food and stuff. They'll do one experiment and then they'll just say, okay, this is it. And no one really goes, okay, well, what if we change some certain variables? What if we do a deeper dive into it? And I guess there's no money into redoing something that someone's already done.
Yeah, there's no incentive.
So then you have bad information out there that you're basically just living off of because that's all you have. It's either that or no information.
Yeah, I think for the most part, scientists are out there trying to find the truth. Of course, you're going to have bad apples, but you're going to have bad apples everywhere,
I wouldn't say bad apples. I mean, it's just, okay, like this is what one experiment came out with. And then, we're basing things off of that one experiment. Is it right? No, but it's the best we got so far, kind of thing.
Yeah. And science needs funding. The way we get funding and the way we set up how we do things, there's an incentive and a motivation behind it. So sometimes those incentives, they get in the way of the science, but you need it in order to get your answers, right? So it's like you got to play along to get there. And I think that's just like walking that line is big.
How many times have you guys not heard of a drug company coming out with a study that says that their drug is effective and the FDA approving it? That's because who's running those studies? It's the own company.
Right.
The FDA is a government agency. They don't have the funding. They basically, they're doing the best they can with what they got.
Right.
And sometimes, like recently, I think it was one of the drugs, the efficacy was questioned, and they were, targeting like the FDA. They were like, how can you approve this? Even though like it hasn't, the company said it was effective. You guys said it was effective, and now the studies are saying that it's not. Why did you guys approve it? Well, they approved it because whatever resources they had at the time, that's what they were able to do,
And then someone can turn around and go, well, they were bought.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're in with them. They're in with this company. And it's like, well, maybe. I mean, that might be true.
Maybe,
But
yeah.
also,
That's a possibility.
it's a possibility. But also another possibility is that we're not giving them the credit or the resources they need to actually do the job right.
Why do they always want to get rid of the IRS?
Because we think for some reason that the IRS is strictly there to make our lives a living hell. I think a lot of people think of the IRS as they're just there to take our money.
Yeah.
And if, for some reason, if they don't exist, then therefore they have
more money on my check.
right. You're going to have more money in your check, which is ridiculous. Because this came up earlier this year, right? When they were like, oh, we're not going to give them that $7 billion funding or whatever they needed.
Yeah.
I guess a different part of their duties is investigating tax fraud. And if they don't have the people to do it, guess who's getting away with tax fraud? It ain't going to be me because I don't know how to tax fraud.
People are already not paying money on taxes.
Yeah, exactly. It's, the people that know how to fucking game the system. They're going to get away with it because there's no one there to investigate them. It's like cutting funding to the SEC. How are they going to put resources behind finding people who do insider trading when they don't have the resources to do it?
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's like people that complain about taxes and such, which, I mean, no one likes to pay taxes, right? But
They don't realize that stuff pays for stuff that they actually use. They might not,
it's because it's where it's going, right? Where are most of our taxes going? They're going into like the military industrial complex. Do I get an F-35 at the end of the year? No, I don't get an F-35. So I care about, I don't want to hit any bumps driving through cities,
But you know that it's going mostly to that.
Yeah,
The argument always, since I can remember, is like, yeah, you know what? That poor person's taking your money. All
Right.
these social programs taking your money. All of that's literally we dump so much money into that portion of the government, and then they turn around and say, you know what? We're taking all this money, but like it's that poor person over there. Yeah, they're the ones that take your money. Blame him. Blame them. And literally, it's that argument is pervasive, and it's been pervasive since I can remember. And I'm like, yo, what? Like I've been paying taxes for a couple of years, and off the bat, I think first couple of checks, I went out and I did research. I'm like, yo, where the fuck is my money going?
I know a lot of people that are getting direct money from the government, and they're the biggest complainers of that.
Oh, yeah.
We shouldn't be giving money to the poor. And I'm like, aren't you getting a check every month? And they're like, yeah, but that's different. And it's like,
It's different. It's totally different.
how is that different?
I pay your salary. Anyone who gets a tax rebate or anything like that, tax credit, I mean, you're getting public funds.
Yeah. Our
And-
biggest issue with taxes isn't the fact that we're paying taxes. It's the fact that we're not seeing the benefit from our taxes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just people making shitty fucking decisions with our money.
Right.
And the thing is the people who get into politics, they're a special type of person. They're not really the person who's going to make the best decisions.
I think
Right.
some go. I think some go in there with that, but then they get into the swamp. And to be honest, like you got to play ball, man. You got to play ball.
You got to pick and choose your battles. It's not just you passing the law. You have to convince a shit ton of people to convince too. And some of them are fucking scumbags and don't want to do the greater good.
Most of them are rich. Most of them are rich, have high net worth.
I think 99% of them are fucking rich.
Only AOC is AOC and then the George Santos. Only two cheap broke ones. But everybody else is super rich.
They're rich. They're rich.
What are you talking about? George Santos is a billionaire.
Yeah. You know what? He did tweet that he has more money than Jeff Bezos. Matter of fact, he tweeted that he is Jeff Bezos. So I'm mistaken.
Apple was his idea.
This falls all back to the conspiracy theory. If all these people are out there, right? If I'm paying a shit ton, if I'm paying 50% of my fucking paycheck in taxes and I don't see anything of it, well, someone's got to be doing something somewhere, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think at that point, right, if you're shooting at a big target, right, and you're not specifically saying it's this one person or it's these people specifically in the government who are an issue and they're corrupt and I can't prove it. Well, I'm just going to put them all together. And since I'm seeing less benefit for my buck, then I'm going to say something wrong is going on. And then I'm just going to say the government is fucking me.
Right.
The government is fucking me. I look at my check every week. The government's fucking me. I used to think like, why is the government taking more money than I'm able to put away for myself? That's crazy. That's crazy. If I look at what the federal government, state government, all these things, they take away, it's more than I'm saving for myself. The government's taking more out of my check than I am. And the rest is just for me to float it. The rest is just an expense for me to go back to work. Right? Rent expense, food expense. That's just so I don't die and get killed or whatever, so that I could go back to work to make them more money. And what am I getting out of it? Roads?
That's what they're doing. They're basically exactly what you're talking about. Taking more money, and then they say, "Yo, here's this shiny little thing."
Yeah, we're not working for ourselves. We're just keeping ourselves alive. We're working for the government. Government's making more money than I am.
Yes. Yeah. What's let's see, minimum salary of a senator?
Isn't it like 250?
Yeah, I think it's 250 because the president gets what, 225.
I thought they get like 400.
Yeah, I thought it was like 400 or something.
So in 2022, average of members of the House of Representatives and the Senate, $174,000.
So now check average net worth, though.
You know, but those average net worths, like, okay, yeah, some of them could be from insider trading. Some of them, a lot of them, like, I mean, think about it. If you come from a
money.
you come from a rich family, what are you going to do? You ain't going to work to make money. You're going to work to make power and influence and basically hang out with your peers. And they have enough money to get elected. There's a lot of that too. Prestige, power, that comes more.
Listen, if I'm a senator, I'm getting the best of the hookers. I mean, I'm not going to get I'm not going to get your usual ragtag fucking cheap hookers. I want the blue chip.
The blue chips. No, I understand. And you should get it. You know,
It deserve it.
Capitalist society. Yeah, man. All this stuff, you know, it comes down to trust, and it comes down to people not understanding or not having the ability to understand everything. And it comes from hardship. And if, you know, they look and they're not seeing a change, then these things come up.
I think the anger is justified. It's just not well placed.
But then what would be a better way to place it? Unions.
On promoting policies and platforms that actually benefit the masses.
You know what I always think it is? It's not always think it is, but it's like, it's just these conspiracy theories, right? Okay, let's say there's an issue. Let's say there's a problem. And let's say it is ingrained into human nature. Okay, let's look at the reason why it's ingrained in human nature. Well, it's probably some sort of survival mechanism, right? You have hardship, you have something you don't understand, and then you have a conspiracy theory. Now you're able to spread this conspiracy theory. What do? You get a larger group of the people who are going through the same problem as you. All right, well, we know that groups of people are stronger together, and then now they can tackle an issue.
Apes together strong.
Yeah, exactly. So apes together strong. Now a group of people are able to tackle an issue. The problem is you don't have critical thinking. So they have a low level of how they're going to be able to do this process. And what do you do when you don't know what to do? You go for the low hanging fruit, right? And what's the easiest thing? You go for these things that are small and easy to answer, and you really can't get any further. So now you have a bunch of these conspiracy theories jumping around, and they're going after this and they're going after that, but it's not making any change. And I think that's what it is. They don't have the leadership, they don't have the resources, they don't have what it is, but they're forming because they form naturally in nature.
It's populist movements.
I didn't get the average net worth, but some of these guys are. This guy, Rick Scott, in 2018, his net worth was $259 million. That's a senator from Florida.
His net worth, 259?
His net worth, $259 million. So it looks like the top 50. I can't do average because it's going to be skewed by the top 10. But you're looking at the top 50 net worth or minimum 10 million.
I saw this. I think it was I can't remember if it was a tweet. I forgot where it came from. Remember Bloomberg?
Yeah.
He spent like $500 million in campaigning and ads and stuff like that, right? And someone was like, instead, he could have literally give everyone in America $1 million.
I think I saw that too.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah.
And I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Shit.
That is true.
That is true. If everyone in not even America, if everyone in New York City got $1 million check, I would have voted for him.
Could have been easier. Yeah, 8
It would have
million.
been cheaper. It would have been cheaper.
I'm gonna give everybody here $1 million.
Is that
Can
bribing?
you do that
Is
though?
count
I
as a
think.
bribe?
Yeah, I don't know if you could do that legally.
It could be like that guy.
It's like it's a private citizen though. You just gave. It's like you just gave me $1, but 1 million of them.
We should bring that back. I need $1 million.
Who was running for mayor, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give everybody like $500 when he wins." I forgot his name. He's also
That's
like
a great idea.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I would take a $25 Amazon gift card.
No, I need it up front. I need it up front.
$50 Amazon gift card.
100. I need $100. $100.
$100's good.
I'm fucking done.
100. Yeah.
For my vote, $100 is good.
Hey, I just spent $30 on hand soap and these scented beads. I didn't know I needed them.
Scented beads?
Yeah. You know the ones that you
Beads?
throw like laundry beads?
Oh, those are You gotta have them. You gotta have them.
Whoever came up with that, I didn't even know I needed it, and now I can't stop buying it.
Yeah, those are good.
Unstoppables. Shout out to Downey.
In Florida, there's a warning. Please don't eat them because Florida.
I just put a little on my cupcakes. Makes it smell nice.
So, fellas, that was the end of what I had for this episode.
I feel like we could talk about conspiracy theories for the next fucking 6 episodes. Not that we should.
Yeah, take us away. Take us away.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. See you on the next one.